Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome. This little Tony going, hello. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome to Keep, Sell or Loan show. We're doing centre backs today, just in case you didn't know from the thumbnail, which I have to admit, Tony's best work by a million miles. I loved it. But we have got Tony, but we'll go into Luke first. How are you doing, Luke?
Morning, Bobby. Morning, Tony.
How are you doing?
Mate.
Yeah, I'm not bad, thanks. Yeah.
Good. Tone, how are you after your lane?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. Late taking the boy to school this morning. He wasn't going to wake me up, was he? But I got him there. And I'm back in time, so it's all good.
Wow.
Let's talk central defenders.
Exactly. We are going to talk centre backs, and we're not going to talk about the first team squad. We're talking about all our centre backs. But here's the intro. Okay, so these are our first teamers. Now I'm going to have to go full screen because I can't see it from my screen right now. However, we also done a Twitter poll, and we'll get into that as well. Right, so these are our four main starters. Now, the reason I haven't put Ben White in here, and I have to be honest, I don't think he's a centre back anymore for Arsenal. I think he's a right back. So I have put him in the full back conversation. Right, we're going to start with Gabriel, 25. This season, he has played 38 games, scored 3 goals, and he's got an average rating of 7.03. Now, this system that I use for average ratings, if anything is above 6.7, it's a good season. So just so you know for future reference. Right, then we've got Saliba. Obviously, his contract is running out next season with the option with an add-on for a follow year. However, hopefully there will be news breaking very soon about him. He's played 33 games this season, 3 goals, 1 assist. And then we've got Tom Holding. Why am I changing his name? Rob Holding. I don't know where I've got Tom Holding from. 18 appearances, 1 goal, 6.94. His contract expires next summer as well. We only signed him for 2 million quid though, bargain. And Kivior made 2 appearances, 6.1, but to be fair to him, 1 was his debut and 1 he only just came on. So I'm going to be fair to him. We have got like current market values for him also. Kivior current market value is 17 million. Rob is 9. Saliba is 42 million pounds. And Gabriel is 44 million pounds, which I have to be impressed. Gabriel has played over 100 appearances for us now, holding 156. It just shows that he's been with us for so long, and he is very integral to us. And I know Tony absolutely loves him, and I do get it. As I've always said, he's my Andy Linnigan, so I'm happy with this. Right, let's go into the defending stats. This is where it gets important. We've got Gabriel here. Clean sheets, 12. Just 3 errors. We've got Saliba, 11 clean sheets, 6 errors. Rob Holding, 4 clean sheets, 1 error. Obviously, played a lot less than Saliba and Gabriel. And Kivior, obviously, he's only played 2 games, so it doesn't surprise you that there's 0 in his defending stats there. The interesting thing that I thought was something that I needed to talk about is tackles per game. Now, obviously, Saliba and Gabriel, they do 1.3 tackles per game, where Rob only does 0.9. But I think Rob defends in a different way. Do you agree with that, Tone?
Yeah, well, he's played less minutes. I know it says he's had 18 appearances. How many of them has he actually started?
Yeah.
And he comes on late. He comes on late as well. But listen, for me, he's a throwback defender, and I've always said that. I was a centre back when I was playing. That's where my love comes from, because I was always told, just get stuck in, and that's what I did. So that's why I love it. Like kid, my favourite goal of all time is Adams against Everton. The long ball from Steve Bold to Adams. Yeah. As a central defender, I mean that goal was everything to me. Do you know what I mean? So
I was behind the goal. I was actually on Match of the Day. My mum paused it because we had.
You have to show us the image, Bobby.
I'll have to find it.
Probably won't recognise you, but
oh, you will. I was the only one with ginger hair.
Right,
I stuck out like a sore thumb.
Fair enough, but and obviously defenders they play differently these days. And back when we were watching, when we were growing up, I was watching Maldinis and Stams and obviously the Adams and Bolds of the world, Hallisters. I can go on, and it was they were good at the long ball, and Rob Holding's good at the long ball. You've seen it in the last game, and that that's what I was always taught. Get rid of the ball, but find a player if you can. I got a couple of assists by doing that. You know what I mean? As at centre back. So that's why that's where my love comes from, Old, because he is a throwback defender. He's English. He's a Northern lad, and that was the way he was brought up into the game. So, obviously now the game's changed. Saliba and Gabriel obviously suit the way the game's being played now.
Yeah.
The way that Arteta wants to play his football, the way most teams want to play their football. But for me, to have a player like Rob Holding in the team, we've seen it. We saw it last season as well. Comes on, shores things up, clears the ball, blocks the ball. I think he had what was his? He had some fantastic numbers against Palace in terms of clearances and blocks. I can't remember. But that's where my love for him comes from. Kivia, we'll have to wait and see with him. I don't think we're going to see much of him at this stage of the season now. So it'd be interesting what we do with him. I got an idea what I want to do with him, but obviously we're going to get into that. But yeah, that's where I am.
Okay. Before I ask Luke's opinion on Rob and the other centre backs, you've just brought up a very good point there, Tony. That Rob Holding plays very differently. But when it comes to the style of Arsenal's play, he plays exactly how Arteta wants of him. Because if you look at the passing stats, which is very important to the way that we play, touches per game is 74.6. Compared to Gabriel, is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Saliba is just slightly more, 77.6. The passing accuracy, there's literally 2% between all three of them. 89 on Rob. So I'm not going to say that's awful because it's not. It's still 89. Saliba's 91. Gabriel's 90. I know Kivior's only played a very small amount of time, but his passing accuracy at the moment is 96%. But it just shows that even if like Gabriel or Saliba does have to drop out, Rob can play exactly the way that Arteta wants with passing, which is vital.
I've always pointed that out to people. People that have followed me on Twitter, I've always pointed out as passing. What people got to remember as well is when the season that he pretty much was consistently in the team, which was the 2020-21 season, it was during COVID, and he had Hector Bellerin next to him at right back, and he had David Luiz as his defensive partner.
Yeah.
So he had a lot to do there. And actually, that season, we were the third best team defensively. I know we finished 8th, but it wasn't good enough. It just says a lot for me.
Yeah. So Luke.
Yeah.
What do you? Well, firstly, let's see what you think of Rob. What do you make of him?
I think he would be more suited to a team that plays like a low block, and that can be any team. Doesn't it? I think he'd be more suited to a different style of play. First of all, I don't think he's that suited to the way we play, simply because I think we do have to play slightly differently. I know Arteta doesn't like to do things differently. I did notice actually against Crystal Palace that he actually switched it up in terms of Gabriel and Holding, in terms of what he normally does with Gabriel and Saliba. In terms of Gabriel seemed to be the one that was kind of sweeping things up, and having Holding not be the one that chases, because he's not he's going to lose out if he's having to chase people back. We saw what happened at Tottenham last year. He was trying to, Son got the better of him, didn't he? And I think he ended up getting sent off. But his passing actually is something that probably a lot of Arsenal fans don't consider to be one of his attributes.
Yeah.
He's better than people think.
Yeah.
So he can, that side of it, I think he can play in our system better than people think. I just think it's, in terms of the high line we like to have, I do worry about him playing against the better centre forwards, better sort of wing forwards. Because he doesn't have that pace to get himself out.
You say, sorry, I was going to jump in because you mentioned the centre forwards. I think it depends on the centre, the centre forward he's up against, because we saw him against Haaland in the cup. When I think he dealt with him really, really well. I think he actually got into Haaland's head. Obviously, he came off in the second half because he picked up that booking, which was for me a smart move, because Haaland, as much as Rob can wind strikers up, Haaland can do the same. And we were winning that game, so the switch was at half time was correct. But I think that set the tone for Haaland's game, because Saliba came on, and obviously he's dealing with a different defender now. He's just had Rob Holding on the whole time. Now he's got Saliba and Gabriel, because obviously they both work off each other. So I think for me, it depends on. So say, for example, if we're playing Liverpool, you don't really want Holding playing. But if we're playing City, where they've got a striker, a target man, that's when you kind of want Holding. You saw it in the FA Cup final in 2017 against Costa. He got right in his head.
Yeah. There's certainly, there is, specific type of strikers that he'd be better up against. Yeah. Do you think that with that? I mean, it's a little bit risky, I suppose, because I think he was never in danger of getting sent off in that first half at City. But I think if he'd played that second half, he probably might have been in danger of getting sent off. But do you think that was actually a tactic that Arteta, he told him basically to rough him up a bit, and he'll take a yellow card and take him off? Do you think that was his plan?
I can see that. Because I think he knows what you get. He knows what you're getting with him. And he's been there long enough. So I actually think that probably was the plan. Interesting to see if we do it again in the Premier League. I can't imagine he will.
No, because we have got who we're going to bring off the bench. That's the thing, isn't it?
That's to see as well. Mind you saying that, Saliba, hopefully he's back by then. Well, he should be back by then. He will be. He will be back because we're not playing him until later in the month, in April. So, yeah.
Yeah, it depends how bad this back is, to be honest. Okay. So, what's your early opinion, Luke, on Kivior so far? What you see? I know it's a very small amount, but what have you seen, or that hasn't impressed you, or has impressed you?
Yeah, I mean, he looks like someone that can play in our system in terms of his passing ability again, and I think he's got that bit of pace to get back if needed. I think the miscommunication with Turner against Sporting, I think will be easily solved. I don't think that's much of a problem.
Yeah.
So in the little that we've seen of him, I think there's lots to like about his game, and we'll see how he comes on. Probably more so next season.
So out of the let's take out Kivior right now. Out of the three that we've got there, so Gabriel, Saliba, and Holding, who have you been most impressed with this season?
I've been Gabriel, actually.
Yeah. So
I feel after a bit of a shaky start, like where he did make the odd error, the odd gaff, if you will, I think he's been brilliant. Really, since sort of October time.
Yeah.
So I think Gabriel's actually been our most consistent performer.
Yeah, hopefully Tony will be back in a minute so I can ask him. But I'm on the same boat as you, as Gabriel has impressed me the most. I was obviously you know how much I wanted to see Saliba in an Arsenal shirt. I've been impressed, but he's only 21. He's 4 years younger than Gabriel, so there's time for him to learn and iron out some of these little issues he does have sometimes. But Gabriel. Sometimes last season I was like, oh, why are we picking him? There's Tony back. But Gabriel has stood up and been the big man at the centre back this year for me. Tony, so I've just asked Luke who's been your favourite out we'll ignore Kivior because it's not fair to talk about Kivior. But Holding, Saliba, and Gabriel, who's impressed you the most out of our centre backs this season?
Gabriel, he's improved a lot. He's cutting out his bozoness. He has his moments. He just sees red. He's managed to control that this season, which I've been really impressed with. I actually think, as good as Saliba has been, especially the first half of the season, Gabriel has been more consistent for me. And it's the first time he's playing with Saliba as well this season as well. You got to remember that. As new as it is for Saliba, it's new for Gabriel as well. So I've been really, really impressed with Gabriel. It's just simple. It's just because of his improvement. Obviously, Saliba's close behind him because he's been like a new signing.
Yeah.
So, but for me, definitely Gabriel. And he adds goals to his game as well. Important goals.
Yeah.
So
I noticed that he's got 3 this year, 11 in total for his whole career. Where we can, I know that appearances for Holding have probably been mainly subs, but it's a comparable statistic. Holding's got 4, but Gabriel's got 11. That's pretty good, to be fair, for a centre back. And he's always a menace from corner kicks as well. So I love that. Right. It's time to ask you about these 4. Obviously, we've got loads more to talk about, but these are our starters. Kivior, Luke, are you going to keep, sell, or loan Kivior?
Yeah, we're not gonna sell him when we just brought him. Yeah, definitely keep.
No, it's your decision, not what Arsenal should do.
I'd keep. Yeah,
you'd keep. Okay, cool. Tony, what are you going to do with Kivior?
I struggle with this one. Obviously, it's keep, but it's whether do I send him out on loan just because he hasn't had enough time to play with his team since he's come in. Did he come in with a little bit of an injury, didn't he? He then started playing with the unders.
Under 21s, yeah.
And then obviously we've only seen him once last week. So I don't know. If we were still in Europe, that would have helped my decision making.
Okay, well, don't forget this is the summer window, so we've got Champions League. So
obviously, I think I probably would loan him just because. Let's say, if the team stays as it is and we're not going to see much of him, I would like to see him go out on loan. He's still only 23 as well, so.
Okay. Well, I've got a follow-up for you then, because if anyone says sell or loan, there's got to be a follow-up. What are you doing at centre-back? If we haven't got Kivior and we've only got Gabriel, who's replacing or coming in to replace Gabriel if Kivior's gone? Are you looking for another centre-back that can come in straight away to the squad?
Again, see, this is where it's difficult. This is where...
This show was never going to be easy. You know who's hosting it. I'm always tricky.
I thought this would be one of the last ones, but I think when you put it that way, and the more you think about it, it's just I want to see more of him. But like you said, if Gabriel go season, and he would obviously train him with the team. He's trained with the team, so he's got that behind him, isn't he? So yeah, I probably would keep. No, keep.
Yeah,
keep.
Okay. Keep. You're just going to be scared to say loan now, just because you know there's a follow-up.
I'm not going to do it, whatever.
Right, I'm keeping him because I know he's talented. He's played at Serie A level, so I know he's good enough. Right, Holding. Right, we'll start with Tony first because this is his boy. What are we doing? Keep, loan, or sell? Holding.
Keep.
Luke.
Simple. You know, I've already explained why I think he's important to the team. Obviously, I agree with Luke, by the way, saying that he's probably suited going to a low block team. But when we play a team where we need a low block ourselves, we've got Holding to come on to deal with it. So I think he's important. I really do. And if he's happy, which I think he is, with his role at the club, then why not just keep it? You know what you're going to get.
Yeah, he is a tin of Ronsil. Luke, what are we doing?
I think you said he's got a year left in his contract.
He's got a year, but there's an option.
An option for another year.
Yeah.
I would be looking at what we could get for him, to be honest.
His market value is 9 million.
I think we could get more than that. If you trigger that extra, you've got 2 years. I think you could get more than that for him. But it would be based on can we get someone in that's better and more suited to the way we play, and also happy to be essentially at the start of their Arsenal career back up to Saliba. They've got to compete with Saliba but there's also a youngster that I'd like to see as well. But he'd probably need to. I know we'll talk about him, but
he may be on my list. He may be on my list.
I know. I'll save that to when you come to him. But I would be looking to sell.
Okay. Is that for him or for Arsenal? Because this is where I'm torn.
Yeah, I think for now. I know Tony's right. He's happy. He's probably happy to be at Arsenal.
Yeah.
But I think Rob Holding should be playing every week for someone.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be. I think it might feel like if he's wasted his career, if he's just kind of just been a happy backup. I don't know whether he would think that when all is done, and it's not up to Arsenal to decide these things, because it's up to him whether he wants to stay or not, essentially. But I'd be looking to see what we could get for him and bring someone in, whilst at the same time look at this youngster as well. Yeah,
okay. I'm interested what your youngster is now. I'm not gonna have a guess yet. I think I might know who it is. Tony, are you happy about how Luke looks at it? Because that's kind of how I look at it. Is if I think he could play at Newcastle. I think he could play game in, game out for Newcastle. To be honest,
I understand what he's saying because he does deserve to be playing week in, week out for a team that's just above mid-table, but below the top four, if you like. But again, if he's happy playing that role, and the players love him as well, don't they? So
they do.
I understand it, but I think for us, because I'm going to be selfish, I'm going to think about Arsenal. As much as I love him, I would keep him just because he, like you said, he's that Ronsil. You want him to come on last few minutes of a game, shore things up. It's what we had with Keown towards, with the Invincibles and just before that. Yeah. And that's why I always compare him and Keown because that's how I see it. But listen, if he wanted to go because he wanted to play more, and again, I think he should. He deserves it. But then again, if he wants to stay and do what he's doing here, I'm all for it. And I see a comment there from G saying that he would be his fifth choice, which I understand what he means by that, because we do need a replacement for Saliba, because he's not the same player as Saliba.
Yes.
And it's lose Saliba next season for a long time, which is possible with Champions League football. Let's just assume we've got that. We're gonna need that backup because Rob Holding, like I said, Rob Holding's for certain games and for closing games out.
Yeah.
So I understand what Luke's saying.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be totally agree with you, Tony. Is if he wants to go, I'll happily let him go. But if not, I'm going to keep him for a bit. Right. This one should be quite easy, Saliba. I'm going to say keep, Tony.
Yeah. Keep. Should we just say keep? We're done.
Yeah, because that was probably easiest. We will talk into the Twitter poll later because obviously we questioned it last night as well, Tony. Yeah, exactly. That was my face when I first saw a vote on it. And Gabrielle, keep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
cool, excellent stuff. Right, well, we'll go into the first teamers that are actually not at our club now. So we've got. We'll start with Pablo Mari first. He's at Monza. There is a weird obligation to buy if certain things are met, and if they're not met, then they don't have to trigger the buyout. It's very weird. So I'm pretty sure he's going. However, he's still paid by Arsenal and still kind of employed by us. So he's had a decent season. He's played 20 games, 6.86. As I said, anything above 6.7 is a pretty good season. I never wanted him in the first place, so I'm going to say sell on this dude. Tony, for Pablo Mari.
I'd sell. By the way, glad that you recovered after what happened earlier on in the year.
Yeah.
It was just great. It was great news. But yeah, do you know what? He's got a good attitude. I'll give him that. He's got a great attitude. But yeah, he's not for the club. So yeah. Sell.
Luke.
Yep, definitely sell. I think that obligation will be met anyway, so there won't be anything really to question or any decision to make for Arsenal. He will be going to Monza.
Yeah. Right. Austin Trusty. Very good season for Birmingham, to be fair. But I think...
Did you see that one?
Yes. Well, whether or not he meant it is another thing, because I've looked at that so many times and I still can't work out if he meant it or not. But he's had a very good season. But I do have a smelly smell on this deal in the first place. But he is ours. Whether or not he ever plays for us is another matter. Play 37, 6.98. Honestly, he's been doing really well at Birmingham. And Birmingham, to be fair, are struggling. So to be a very well-performing player in your team is pretty good. Luke, what are you going to do with Trusty?
Yeah, I'd be looking to sell him. I think we've got a bit of value. We've added, I think, a little bit of value there with this loan move to Birmingham. And I think there'll be people looking at him at the championship level, even maybe teams going down, whoever might go down. I think we could get 10 million for him, I think.
Before I ask Tony, actually, because you just made a very good point there about championships at Burnley would be a very good side for him. They're going to be coming up.
They're coming up, yeah. So they could
owned by Americans as well. So
yeah.
it suits them perfectly, Tony, actually. Tony, what are we doing with Trusty?
I was going to say the same thing. I would loan him out to a newly promoted team.
Oh, you'd loan him out to a newly promoted team?
Yeah, I wouldn't sell him because I want to. I like what I've seen, but there's still more that I need to see. And it's great that he went to a championship team, especially at that end of the table as well, because you get to see a proper defender, But yeah, I would loan him one more time to a maybe newly promoted team or one of the teams that have been flirting with the bottom this season.
Okay. See, I've got a feeling this is like one of those investment signings. So I think he's going to go to Birmingham, go to a different league, then we'll send him out another league, and then I think we'll sell him for like a substantial amount of money.
Okay.
So that's what I think. To be honest, I kind of like it because it's a money-making scheme, and we're self-sufficient. And if that's the way we need to do things, then go for it. So I'm going to loan him again. I'm going to loan him to someone. To be honest, I think I'd like to see him abroad. I'd like to see what he can do abroad because he's in the toughest league as a centre-back in the Championship, because that is not an easy league to start off in. And that's why he's impressed me, because he's gone straight to the Championship and done really well. But I'd like to see him abroad. Wouldn't mind seeing him in Germany, to be fair. That'd be quite interesting. See him in Germany.
I think Germany might be a good place for him, actually.
Yeah.
They do. They've had a few Americans there, haven't they?
Yeah. Before I get into, because I realised I was on the big screen, so I couldn't see any comments whatsoever that people were doing. I better get into comments before we get into our youth. Rob Holdingham, shot with hair. All right. Big up to G. Hope you're doing well. For me, it's pace, and yep. So he's on about Holding. Big up to Colm. Hope you're doing well. He has attributes and opposition that you can play in. Yep, correct. Agree. Kivior looks decent so far, but too early to call how it's going to go. Absolutely. Saliba started fast, but Gabriel for me has been most get. Absolutely agree. He's keeping Kivior, he's keeping Holding, and he's keeping Saliba and Gabriel. I can't remember what's G doing with me, because G's doing one with me next week, isn't he?
I don't think he's actually picked one yet, but yeah.
Yeah. We've got one because we've. Has he got the wingers? I think he's got the wingers.
It might be wingers, yeah.
He's got the wingers, so it's going to be interesting because I'm going to grill him. I'm going to grill him.
Dead wingers. There we go.
Yeah. Sell Holding to Newcastle for 40 million quid. Colm, stop playing FIFA, mate.
Imagine if we did that. You'll take it.
I don't think any of us would go, don't you dare sell him. 40 million quid for Holding. Yeah, we'll have it. We'll have it every day. Trusty not seen much, but I'm happy to cash in and sell. Okay, I think he's going to be one. He's like investing in something. I think that we're kind of investing in players now. I'm just going to keep. You haven't seen what I've got to do with you yet, mate. It's wingers. Right, these are youth. Now I'm going to be interested to see which one Luke is excited by here. So I have changed the slides for next shows because I noticed that this one looks awful. But we've got San Muli, Zach Orr, and Royal. I struggle saying his name. Royal. Thank you. I struggle. It's a tongue tie.
Is he more of a fullback? Walters, or is he?
Well, we had a really long because I had a conversation with quite a few people that I know that do this kind of stuff, and Raw was bought as a right back, but he's now a centre back for Arsenal. He's tall and he's fast, and I think they're kind of expecting him to be able to do both roles.
Like
but he did replace who dropped out of the squad at the weekend.
Oh, it's Tommy Asu.
Yeah, Tommy Asu. He replaced. No. Was it him?
Yeah. Tommy Asu was out, wasn't he? Out of the squad.
That's why he came in. Tommy Asu and Saliba were both out, so he came in.
Oh, okay, yeah, but so he's the centre back option now.
Okay.
So I'm intrigued. I've not put him in two different positions because Rawl is classed as a centre back. He's very tall, so I don't mind that if that's the case. So they haven't really been, because obviously it's Premier League 2. It's a very weird league because the first part of the season we're kind of full strength. Then we get to January and we send quite a lot of them out on loan. So after a very good start for us at the beginning of the season, we've dropped off a lot because we've lost a lot. So have you heard any good stuff about any of these three? Obviously, one of them is someone that I absolutely adore. I've got a feeling, Luke, one of your one might be on this list.
Yes,
I had a feeling it might be. Zayn Monlu, I'm all right about. It's like, I'm not holding much out for him, but it's the other two I am. Luke, which ones have you heard of, and which ones are you excited by?
I've heard of Zach Orr and Raw Walters. To be honest, I wasn't expecting to be talking about Raw Walters because I thought he was a right back.
That's why it's not the fault.
I know he played when we played. I think it was Nuremberg, our first pre-season friendly last year. I swear he was playing at fullback, not centre back. Yeah. And then I think when I saw him play another game when we went to America, he was at left back.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he can play both positions, that's great, But definitely, I would be promoting Raw Walters to the first team squad because he could come in and do what like Tommy Asu does.
Yeah.
And Zach Orr, I would be promoting to the first team squad. I'd be, if I was Mikel Arteta, that's why I was talking about letting Holding go. I'd be having a good look at Zach this pre-season, playing him in games to see could we use him this season, like even keep him for the first half of the season, play him in some games that like the League Cup games, and potentially like a couple. If we do well in the Champions League group stage, he could come and play a couple of those dead rubbers in the Champions League, even come on as a sub. And then second half of the season, loan him out so he can play a load more games. That would be what I'd be looking at. Raw Walters, I'd probably be looking to keep in the first team squad because of his versatility. Because he seems like he can play across the back line to me, unless Arteta has other plans with him. From what I've seen, he looks like he can play right back, left back, and centre half.
Yeah, I've got his heat map up now, and he is predominantly down the right side, but he can also play at centre back.
Yeah,
and I think that's where Arsenal are looking at him, is the fact that he is that versatile again. Because you know how much Arteta loves versatility within a player, and obviously putting him on the subs bench, you've then got that versatility. If someone picked up he could literally come in for anyone. I am very excited. We got him from Norwich, I believe, as well. So it's the fact that we're actually pinching players from other clubs now, which I do like. We'll get into the one tomorrow from Fulham, which I'm very excited by. And Luke, who knows exactly who I love from who we got from Fulham. Tony, your opinions on these three?
The thing is, I'm with Luke. Although I'm looking at the contract expiry of Zach Hall. So has that not been sorted out yet? His contract?
It's when it comes to the youth, it doesn't take very long to just sort it out, and it normally isn't even announced, to be fair. So, yeah, that's the current status at the moment. But we do want to keep Zach Hall. So,
because to be honest, they're all right-footed as well.
Yeah, but Zach. So the thing with Zach is he's mainly been playing at left centre back.
Yeah,
and he's comfortable there.
Oh, that's good. Monlu I've not really heard much of. I'll be brutally honest. But the other two, obviously, we saw Walters in pre-season. The versatility thing for me is going to be a key. It depends on our fullback situation as well, because for me, Tommy Asu's made of glass, and Tierney. I don't want to go into that because obviously you'll be talking about that later on this week.
Yeah, Monday, I think I'm doing that.
I got a sneaky suspicion he's going to be gone. So having Walters there for maybe the start of the season, if you want. So if I'm, what Luke says, keep him, then maybe loan him out in January. With Zach Hall, I'd loan him out straight away. I would loan him out straight away.
What level? What level would you loan him out? Yeah,
it'd have to be Championship, wouldn't it? I think.
Yeah,
that would be ideal. Even League One, to be honest, depending which team it is.
Yeah.
So League One Championship loan, I'd say for Zach Hall, and then I would probably move on. Well, they're saying that he's 2025, so he'd probably be again a loan. I'd want to see more. So yeah, I'll be loan, keep / loan on these three.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I think Zachel does need some more playing time. Right, these are our loanees that are actually out now. We've actually got a good bit of information about Alex Kirk. He's been doing very well. Being talked about highly, Alex Kirk has. When I had a little chat with someone about him, because I heard about him, but I didn't know enough about him to go, oh, okay, I'm really confident. And they're raving about him up in Scotland. He's playing at Ayr United, which is Scottish League Championship. So, yeah, I was trying to remember if it's League One or League. It's like, yeah, it's just Scottish Championship. So, good level. You got Iro Rakic, kind of annoying me. Not him. The fact that we've sent him out on loan to Wigan and he's only played 4 games. Taylor Foran, fellow Ginger. I was very excited by him because I don't know if anyone saw him in some pre-seasons for us, because he did actually have a few appearances. Very good, but he's gone all the way down to Hartlepool, which concerns me, because normally when you go that low, it's kind of, they try and match your levels a little bit. So it kind of makes me a little bit worried. And then you got Mazid. I'm gonna try and not butcher your name. Ogunbo. He's at Crawley. Mazid's playing a lot of games. Taylor only joined in January, I believe, to Hartlepool. Omar Rekic. There's so much hype about him. I think we actually paid money for him as well, didn't we, Omar? From Germany, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's gone wrong. I don't know what's going on with him. Right. So, Luke, we're going to start with Alex Kirk. What would you do with him?
So you're saying he's at Ayr United in the
Scottish
Championship. So that would, to me, suggest he's not someone that's going to make it at Arsenal. So I would be looking to, you said his contract there 2024. How likely is he going to sign a new contract? If there's no pathway for him, so I'd probably sell.
Okay. What about Omar?
Again, he's at Wigan. He was at somewhere else. Was he somewhere else, did you say, where he wasn't playing? And then he went to Wigan and he's not playing there either.
I know that was definitely Aziz. Omar, I can't remember where he was beforehand. Can you, Tony?
It would have been somewhere, to be honest.
If you carry on talking, I'll see if I can find it out.
Yeah, so again, if he's at Wigan and they're not playing him, obviously we don't know what the reason behind that is, but what is the point of us sending these players down to that level and then not playing?
Yeah.
So again, that would suggest to me he again is someone that isn't going to make it at Arsenal. Sell him as well.
Yeah. Okay. Don't think he was. I think it was just at Wigan. It was at Sparta Rotterdam last season. We did sign him from Hertha.
Yeah.
And he went through like his youth career was like Feyenoord, Man City, PSV, Marseille, then Hertha, and then came to us. It's just something doesn't seem right with him, and there was so much talk about him being this amazing, promising centre back, and I'm like, really? Because this is like what me and James will do at the end of the season is talk about the youth, and there is a big posing question: is where are they? Why are they not coming through then? If they've got so much hype about them, because that is the Arsenal way. If you've got someone of quality. And we'll obviously talk about wingers, and you know who I'm on about when it comes to a winger that we haven't seen enough of, for me anyway, is we've got to give them a chance at some point. And I know we got knocked out of the League Cup and FA Cup and Europa. We didn't play them in Europa, and you know how many times I chose the youth for the Europa games. We need to see them, because are we just wasting their time? What kind of careers they're going to have at the end of this? Because, it just makes me worried long term for the youth at our club. Tony, what are you going to do with these four wonderful young gentlemen?
I'm selling them all on.
Selling them all?
Yeah.
You haven't heard any great talk about any of them? No. Fair enough. That was nice and simple, wasn't it? Right. So that is all our centre backs. As we've said, there's going to be 5 more shows. Forwards is tomorrow, I believe, with Canners. So that will be interesting. We all know that the chat will be tomorrow about Eddie Balogun. Birev is definitely being mentioned by me. You know me, I love how much I love Birev. Goalkeepers will be Sunday with me and Moss, because me and Moss definitely disagree on Turner. Fullbacks, if I can find someone, should be Monday. Then it's Gumza next week with midfielders. 19 players we've got to talk about in midfield.
Wow.
Yeah, that's going to be a massive one. And it's going to be a lot of talk, because there's a lot of people that we need to talk about, specifically who we're going to get rid of, and, Lukonga being one of them. And then it will be wingers with G, who's up for the fight, but we'll see about that. But I do want to get into the Twitter poll votes that we had. Now, let's start with the youngsters first. On Monlu, it was keep 13%, sell 13%, and loan. So the loan wins that one. Zakor, 12, and then 76. Now, the Kivior one was interesting. Keep 81%, loan 19%. No one wants to sell him. And I say it's interesting due to the fact that someone wants to sell Gabriel. And I'm like, what? Tony's face says it all.
One person, surely, isn't it? It's going to be one person that's done it.
Out of
they
40,
might have pressed it by accident.
Yeah, they could have. It could be 2 votes. I think it might have been 2. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, that one. And then Saliba was keep 90%, sell 10%. So even more people want to sell Saliba. But I'm guessing that's more to do with the contract deal.
Yeah, I think people are concerned with the contract. I think that's probably what it is.
I think we need to stop worrying about the contract. It will be announced when it's announced. I'm absolutely fine about it now. Holding.
I'm impressed with this one, by the way. I am really impressed with this one.
I knew this would make you happy. I knew you'd be happy with this one.
I didn't expect. I was expecting to see a lot of sell. I was expecting sell to be the top one. Really.
But yeah, it's keep 62% for holding, sell 31, and loan 7. I don't really get the loan.
Lane doesn't make sense.
No, not for 27-year-old.
No,
no, because his contract's nearly up as well. It just doesn't make sense to slow him out. But yeah, so overall, we don't really need to buy anyone centre back wise, and I don't think either of us will be wanting to either, would we? Really, unless Rob sat down with Mikel and went, "I need to move on. I need to get first team." Then obviously we need to look into that position. But other than that, I don't think we're looking after a centre back, are we, Tone?
Can I just say, at the start of the season, I got laughed at because I put a tweet out saying, with our centre backs, I'm comfortable. We have got the best central defenders in the league. Mark my words, they're going to be brilliant this season. And sitting top of the league, I don't think anyone's laughing at me now.
No, but you know what? I've never had any doubts of it. He doesn't scare me. Like Andy Lineker never scared me when he came on. It's just not. You just kind of knew what you were going to get with him once he came on.
It's this myth I keep hearing. It's he gets booked a lot. He's hot-headed. He's he makes mistakes. Well, I tell you what, I wrote down some numbers for some people. Right, so since the 2018-19 season, he played 71, started 53. Errors leading to shot, 2. Errors leading to goal, none. 1 penalty conceded. Red cards 1, yellow cards 6. Fouls committed 16. So where are they getting that from?
No idea. This is why I wanted to do those stats and compare them, because a lot of people have been saying he doesn't suit our style of play. But he kind of does, because his stats match Gabriel and Saliba. So he's someone that comes in and doesn't really change.
Bobby, we all know what it is. Okay, start
with
his name. Robert Holding from Bolton.
Yeah. Robert
Holding from Bolton cost $2 million. The best thing to come out of Bolton is Peter Kay's misheard lyrics. That's all it is. That's all it is. He hasn't got an exciting name. He's not from Hale End. He's not come from continental Europe. It's just because he's Rob Holding from Bolton and it costs $2 million. That's all it is.
Yeah. 100%. Guys, that is a wrap for today. It's been a brilliant show. We obviously had to get Tony on for the centre back because I had to talk about Holding.
You were going to do it. I said, you know which one I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. The forwards will be tomorrow, and then actually we'll also be doing Arsenal-Tottenham ladies on Saturday. So I do want to mention that. And Sunday we'll be doing goalkeepers. We haven't exactly sorted out next week's ones. But before I actually ask Luke and Tony, I do want to teach you something, because me and Tony have had conversations off screen as well about the BSL at Arsenal. And I do want to teach you something, because my partner has actually trained in BSL, which is why my partner was involved in the conversations between me and Tony. Now this, if you can see that, so where your badge would be, that's Arsenal. If it's that, it's Gunners. So that, Arsenal, Gunners. So if you ever bump into anyone that's an Arsenal fan and you believe that they can't understand you, they will understand that as come on Arsenal or come on Gunners. And that is the most basic thing that we can all do. And I have to be honest, big ups to Jorginho. And I will say this on stream, and my partner will probably kill me. I was doing some stuff in the kitchen, and she called me. She says, "Who's Jorginho?" And I'm like, "Who's Jorginho? I don't know who Jorginho is." She said, "Oh, he plays for Arsenal." I says, "What, did he? Did he play for Arsenal? I can't think of anyone called Jorginho." And because my brain was elsewhere, I was like, "I don't know what you're on about, darling." I says, "Jorginho." And she says, "Yeah, this guy's doing BSL." And I was like, "Oh, show me him." And it was Jorginho. And I'm like, "Oh my God." I was laughing for about 5 minutes, because he's learned over COVID and all these different time off that he calls it. He's been learning BSL, so obviously he's done a video for the Arsenal. I have to big up, because obviously we are now the most inclusive club, and I can definitely say in the Premier League. I don't want to say anywhere else, because I don't know enough about other clubs in other leagues, but we are the most inclusive for disability for everybody, and I just love that. And I shouted out Tony to please do a tweet about it, because I thought it was brilliant. And yeah, so if you ever walk into anyone that is deaf and struggling to understand you, come on Arsenal, or come on you Gunners. The most simple thing you need to remember. And I just loved that. But yeah, I know I've gone off on a tangent, but it's something
class tradition.
Yeah. Exactly. I just loved it. We'll go to Luke first. Thank you very much. Where can we find you, mate?
So my channel that I do with Moss, who will be on your goalkeepers episode of this on Sunday, it's Across the Pond SportsTalk, and we're also on Twitter now at ATP SportsTalk.
Thank you very much. Also, because obviously Luke's forgotten it, we will be streaming Arsenal Tottenham to the channel as well on Saturday, and Spain Norway in the night time. So Odegaard, for any Odegaard watchers out there, we will be doing that in the evening.
You must be annoyed about the Harden news, though.
Oh, I am, because I've done the thumbnails and everything. He's on it, and even the intros he's on it, and I'm like, oh, I've got to change it now.
We all know he's not injured. If we were in Norway, I would have been back in the team. You can stay away, mate.
Yeah.
It's clear sub over country with you. Anyway, me flipping it. Hold on, let me move back a little bit. No one wants to see that on a Wednesday morning. Anyway, yeah, here you find me here or on Twitter at the Silver185. Probably just generally causing trouble as I usually do.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah,
I can agree that he does cause so much trouble. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. I think it's 1 o'clock with Canners. I think so. Anyway, we did a daytime agreement anyway with the forward, so that will be a very interesting one because it is going to be talking about Eddie Balogun. Trying to think who else is on there. I have put Trossard there. Have I put Trossard there? Yeah, I have, because he's been more of a forward this season than he has been a wide man. We've got BRF to talk about. We've got Nicola Molla as well, if anyone can even remember him being part of our youth system. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting chat tomorrow because someone's going to have to go between Balogun and Eddie, loan-wise or sell-wise. We're going to have to get rid of one, to be honest.
It's going to be really interesting. They're going to do them really, really interesting. So I'd be interested to see what you guys got to say about that tomorrow. So I'll definitely be listening in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and before we go, as always, come on, you Gunners. Even though we're not playing, but it's always come on, you Gunners, because we're a family. Take care, everyone. Speak to you all very soon. Bye-bye.